Not hearing anybody, so we'll go ahead and get started here. QST, QST, QST. Welcome to the Wednesday night Amplitude Modulation International Net, or simply AMI. The purpose of this net is to promote the restoration, preservation, and enjoyment of AM equipment, including transmitters, receivers, and assorted vintage AM-type gear. Anyone using AM equipment is welcome, including modern radios capable of creating 2 sidebands and a carrier. We also welcome all listeners. You do not need to be a member of AMI to join this net. However, as a member of AMI, you will receive a certificate that has on it your personal ID number. If you would like membership, go to our AMI website, www.amiinternational.club. Fill out the membership form and pay the $5 fee. You can also send a self-addressed envelope to John McGrath, N9 AMI, at P.O. Box 1422, Silver Springs, Nevada, 89429. John is also good on QRZ.com. John also operates our West Coast website, www.westcoastami.com. Please visit the website to keep up on AMI events. Your AMI net control tonight is W6DQ, Whiskey 6 Delta Quebec. The name here is Dennis, and my AMI number is 1685. The QTH here is Inyokern in the high desert, eastern side of the Sierra Nevada mountains. And the equipment we're running tonight consists of a Flex 6700 going into an Alpha 87A amplifier doing full legal limit, and that's going out to a 540-foot horizontal loop. Microphone I'm using is an Electrovoice RE20, and doing very, very little processing on that. A little bit of EQ, and that's about it. So when I call on you, please share your call, your name, and the make and model of your equipment. If you have any buy or sale items, please list them, and let me know if you want to stick around for the informal roundtable that immediately follows the net. And I will be periodically looking for check-ins through the course of the evening. But for now, is there anybody else who'd like to check in? We'll see if we can add anybody to the end of the list here. This is W6DQ.
Well, I don't know why it's feeding back. KF6SYD.
Yeah, that was painful, Steve. KF6SYD. Good to have you here, my friend. And nice big signal in spite of the feedback. All right, anybody else who'd like to join us?
Yeah, Trump forgot to turn off the other speakers.
Well, as Jeff said, I'm hearing crickets, but nice to have you on here, Steve. Good to hear you. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with Jeff. KK6IRZ. We'll put you got you at the top of the list. Go ahead and take your turn as a W6DQ.
Okay, very good. W6DQ with the Wednesday night AMI net. This is KK6IRZ. Jeff in the thriving metropolis of Chino, California. Future home of a superhero, because we believe that every thriving metropolis deserves to have their very own superhero. Unfortunately, none of us know who that's going to be, but we anxiously wait to find out. But needless to say, that's a whole different topic. Fun doing the earlies. Nice hearing everybody in there. So far, I think signals are good. I'm hearing everybody on my local receiver, no problem. We'll see how things hold up, but certainly easy copy. I'm listening mainly on the ICOM 735 receiver. The transmitter is my home brand, the Bergen DJS 750. And my audio stream is just a cheapo $34 electric condenser mic. Very, very little processing, but I here to keep things under control. Or what I need to, just to give it a little bit of sailing before it goes into the transmitter. And that all goes to the Johnson kilowatt tutor, open wire line out to the infamous square root antenna, which seems to do okay down here on 75. My AMI number is 1809. Don't have anything to sell or trade at this particular time. And I don't think I'm going to make it for the round table afterwards, but put me on anyway, just in case. I'll see how that works out. So back over to you there, Dennis, and good evening to everybody else. W6DQ with the Wednesday night AMI net, AK6 IRZ.
All right, Jeff, very good. Nice signal up here. You're peaking at 40 over on the flex, and that's a pretty decent signal. You sound good. So KK6IRZ W6DQ. Fantastic. Well, the homebrew transmitter is doing the job. And nice to thank you again for taking the early list this evening. Great job on that. And I think, like I said earlier, I'm looking forward to this tonight. I think we got a great list here. I'm just looking. So far, we've got 19 check-ins here this evening. So that's a pretty good list. So over next, we're going to go to Chris, KI6CSA. It's your turn, W6DQ.
Going into an SB200, and receiving on a great everybody gets me tonight. I first fired up my DX40. And good for a good tool. So I should have stayed on the DX40.
All right, KI6CSA, W6DQ. Nice signal. You're about 20 over here, so doing a good job. And you sound good. And appreciate you being here, and always a pleasure. Nice to hear you, and thank you for the comment. Appreciate that. And we'll keep it rolling. Over to George, WA6HCX. Go ahead, W6DQ.
Both sounding very, very good tonight. Home, the seminary, processing, and microphone. Other than that, great to have you and Lisa tonight. It was wonderful, wonderful night. Anyhow, we'll not be around for the round table. I have nothing to say. Anyhow, back to you, Dennis.
All right, George. All right, very good. And yeah, I'm having I don't know if it's low modulation or your audio is a little low. It's a little rough copy, a little noisy, but we got the gist of everything there, most of it. So kind of unusual because usually you're pretty major overloading my receivers here. So, but anyway, it's good to hear you, and thanks for being there. And with that, I'm going to send it over to Phil, N6WHK. It's your turn, W6DQ.
W6DQ, November 6th, I'm talking to everybody pretty slow over the radio here. I don't have KSS on, because I was watching a YouTube video on a project I'm working on. Anyway, AMI number 1661, my name is Johnson Dusty Ranger. L4B is going to go flying in the grass. I ran a full-way loop this time. And 82110 for the receiver. Johnson Matchbox is wrong for getting under control. And it looks like I got one tube out on the L4B. I only see one glowing. So we're going to have to check that out. D104 Mike, 610 choke, watching the pattern. And about, like I said, I'm a loop about 285 feet of wire. Listen to everybody on the Hammerman speaker and sounding good. Anyway, don't have anything with a strong thing to sell, but I always do enjoy the format and what everybody has to play. So that's the fun. W6DQ, November 6th, Whiskey, Kentucky.
All right, Phil. Very good. Fantastic. N6WHK, W6DQ for the AMI West Coast net. And good on the Ranger and the L4B. Sorry you only got one tube going. You're still hitting 20 over here, so it's not hurting you too much. You're still putting out plenty of power, and I'm peaking a little bit too heavy here. Let's see if I can back off a little bit on my audio. Getting a little bit too much modulation on the negative swings. Okay, that's probably going to be a little bit better. But you're sounding good, and always good to hear you, Phil. Thanks for being there. Next, we got Ron, KD6VWS, out there in Joshua Tree. Go ahead and take it, Ron. It's your turn, W6DQ.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. W6DQ, KD6VWS, Ron in Joshua Tree. And thank you, Jeff, for doing it. Always do a fantastic job. Okay, tonight I'm on the volume, early one, 150 watt carrier, and feed it with a Turner Plus 12 amplifier, and receiving on the BC348J, and I've got the R42 beat kit speaker hooked up to it. Good match there with 600 ohm, and that's a nice big speaker. That sounds beautiful through that. And then all that's going to the Drake R4 watt meter, SA2040 heat kit antenna tuner, and that's coax up to the in-bed long wire, about 25 feet. Wavelength on this frequency, pull the coils off the shield, and swap with the round tape on AMI number 16771, and yeah, you're really blasting your ear up. It's almost coming to needle. So with that, back to you, Dennis, W6DQ, KD6VWS.
Oh, fantastic, Ron. KD6VWS and the AMI West Coast Net, W6DQ. Yeah, you're hitting about 30 over here. You got a big signal here, and you usually are pretty loud here, so you're doing the job. And interesting about the, I should mention that I use a couple of Yamaha studio monitors here. They're an 8-inch monitor, but man, they sound so good on AM. They really do a great job. It's really, really nice to listen to them on this setup here. So that's cool. That is cool, the R42. All righty. Let's see, next I got Jay, NY6L. Hopefully you're there. It's your turn, W6DQ.
W6DQ and NY6L after 2 long phone calls. All right, thanks a lot for taking the earlies and stepping in for me. Okay, AMI number 1548, and running the 8040 meter Super Senior D104 microphone with a K7DYY audio processor at the base of the microphone. Receive, we have the ICOM ICR71A, and that's feeding into a Valstar HF auto tuner out to an 8040 meter trap dipole up approximately, I'd say 35 and 40 feet up in the air with a Palomar Engineers 1-to-1 balance, keep things balanced. So nothing to buy solar swap. We're going to save that for the TRW swap meet coming up this Saturday. No on the round table. I need to just kind of listen out and rest my voice. And with that, good evening to all. NY6L Hesperia.
All right, Jay, very good. Nice signal, as always. NY6L, W6DQ. Very good. Well, have fun at the swap meet. I I have not been to the TRW swap meet for so long. I really missed that when I lived down south. That was a lot of fun. And you know, I just remembered something. I'm supposed to make a comment tonight, and I should have done that at the beginning of the net, but I forgot to. I did speak with Wayne and Sharon Spring this afternoon, and they're doing really well. And wanted to wish everybody hello here on the net this evening. They were going to try and get on. The Wayne's 820 D2 is still not really up to par, but I think they were going to try and get on with the 7800 running AM, but Sharon wasn't sure if they'd be here or not tonight. But I had a nice conversation with them this afternoon, which is very, very nice. I always enjoy that. It's always such a pleasure to speak with them and to see them when we get down there in person. So wanted to send that along from Sharon and Wayne. And with that, Vaughn, K6ZTA, it's your turn. This is W6DQ.
All right. W6DQ, K6ZTA. And it's on after Oscar November with the Hills like 1757. Running the Viking 2, about 80 watt Superior. And got the receiver, 2016 tuner.
Vaughn and K6ZTA, W6DQ for the AMI West Coast Net. Well, the antenna, even though it's compromised, you're still doing a great job because you're hitting 20 over here. Beautiful signal, no problem at all copying you. So be advised, it's working. Whatever it's doing, it's working correctly. So there you go. All righty. So next I'm going to do, let's see, we got Mike, W7MS. Take a turn, and after that I'm going to ask for some more check-ins. So Mike, go ahead and pick it up. W7MS from W6DQ.
Well, thank you, Dennis, and what a pleasant surprise to hear you as net control. What a great signal, at least 40 over S9, and maybe I could even exaggerate and say you're pinning my S meter, but that might be a little bit of a stretch, but great signal. W6DQ and the West Coast AMI net, W7MS Mike in Reno. And my AMI number is 216. Good evening to everyone on frequency. Great conditions, and for me that means no on frequency activity from the southeast U.S. It's strictly some rapid fading into my local noise floor, but as far as I'm concerned, I'll take it. It's Q5, and everybody's doing quite well. So this evening, listening to everybody on a 75A4 by Collins, of course, and antennas, just as I say it on every net, is just the boring 75-meter dipole. Let me see, tonight running what euphemistically was known codename Manhattan Project until its debut this past weekend, Saturday night and Sunday morning on the Nevada Military Net, and that is the National NC600 transmitter. Consists of a pair of RK38 Raytheon triodes and push-pull, 35T buffer amplifier, and a pair of 805 triode modulators running Class B. So I'm running, well, somewhere around legal limit would be the way to put it. Maximum smoke, legal limit, yeah, right. But we're still in the sea trial mode, but so far we haven't had any live failures, a few exciting moments in the dummy loads, but that's kind of normal, so a lot of fun. Circa 1938, 7-foot rack, and we won't get into the infamous story here locally, but it came my way, and here it is. It's living next to the 30K1. So no for the swap, and maybe for the round table, but you know, I'm an old timer here, and it's getting close to Betty by time, but we'll see how it goes. So great to hear you again, Dennis, as net control, and hello to Lisa. W6DQ, W7MS.
Oh, very good. W7MS and the AMI West Coast Net, W6DQ. Well, Mike, I am insanely jealous. That has got to be one of the rarest transmitters around, and it's such a pleasure to hear that on the air on this net tonight. That is fantastic. I had my eyes open for one of those for many, many years. I'm a big National fan. I've got a lot of National gear. But transmitters from National are kind of rare, and especially the NC600. That's just, you just blew me away. And it's really great to join you on here, and I do have you down to stick around for the roundtable. I'll tell you what, you may be an old-timer, but I'm an older old-timer than you are, so I'm still going to be staying up for the roundtable. But anyway, what a pleasure to hear that radio. That's great, Mike. Congratulations on getting that on the air. And look forward to seeing some photographs of that. So let me take a quick break and see if there's anybody else who'd like to join us for the AMI Net. This is W6DQ Net Control. Well, that was a whole lot of nothing. Okay. Well, next up on the list, Kevin, WA6JKN. It's your turn. This is W6DQ.
Okay, Dennis. Good signal tonight. And everybody else is 100% copy. And I agree, George, your audio, something was going on with it there, a little low. But, of course, then you had Steve. He was on, like, the other end of the audio, way loud, with the old speaker feedback. That was startling. Well, anyway, I'm just playing around with a new router. I got to tell you the story because it just blew me away. When I was in Salt Lake City the other day, I connected to a cell tower because I was going to operate remote. And I noticed that the cell tower that I connected to on 5G was connecting at 2.4 gigahertz. I thought I was seeing things. So I checked it on another speed deal, the speed app, and sure enough, it was right around 2.4, 2.5, and so I figured, uh-oh, as soon as I get back to Gilroy, I'm going to have to add a little bit more garlic to my router, so I went out and bought a top-of-the-line high-speed router, 11 gig. So I got it working so far. I got it hooked up. I came in earlier this afternoon, hooked it up, and it seems to be performing really well. It's got quite a range on it, 3,500 square feet. I never had anything that had that kind of range. So maybe my neighbors can enjoy the speed. I'll have to give them the password. It's got incredible bandwidth, I'll tell you that. Up to 60 connections. Can you believe that? 60. So it's a monster. So, yeah, I'm still learning how they're doing port forwarding. It's slightly different than my other router. And once I get that all figured out, I'll be good to go. Good to hear everybody tonight. Take care. No swap or watch, no round table. And back to you, Dennis. W6DQ, and thank you, Jay and Jeff, for doing the early WA6JKN.
All right, Kevin. Great. WA6JKN and the AMInet W6DQ. Yeah, that's some hellacious speeds. Good grief. 2.4 gigabits, 2.5 gigabits per second on wireless. And now you're talking 11 gigabits per second. Holy cow. Wow. That's I'd like to see the central office the switcher that's providing that bandwidth to multiple users. That's got to be impressive. But that's pretty cool. And great on that, and congrats on getting the speed up there. That's an impressive amount of speed. I wish we could be so lucky out here. We're lucky. Actually, we do pretty good considering where we are. We get pretty good bandwidth. It usually peaks around 200 to 300 megabits per second. That's about the max, and usually the uplink is a little bit lower. It is asymmetrical. So anyway, it works. It does the job. We can run everything we need to run here, and don't run out of bandwidth usually. So anyway, with that, I'm going to send it over to Lisa. You're next, KF6Q, and she's got a big grin on her face, and I know why. She's going to explain that in a minute. KF6QNG and the AMI West Coast net, W6DQ, and I don't even have to switch the transmitter off.
There you go. Well, good evening to one and all, and thank you, Dennis, for running the net tonight. Yeah, it's been a wonderful day for me today. Had a pre-birthday luncheon with 7 wonderful women friends, and we just had such a wonderful afternoon. Terrific food, great camaraderie, and just, lots of fun, and really made it a special day for me. And we had it at a local tea room here in Ridgecrest. And as soon as I walked in the door, one of the first things I saw was this Tierra. And it's like, I gotta have that. So I didn't even look at the price. Well, it didn't even have a price on it. And it's like, well, I don't care how much it is. I just, I want this. And so I just put it on immediately. And that was in lieu of a hat. A lot of women wear hats to teas. I used to already. So I'm still wearing my tiara and my fancy dress. And, put on tennis shoes, though, to be a little more comfortable coming out to the habitat. But it's just been a really, really fun day, and very blessed to have such wonderful friends. And, it was just a girls' day out, and looked like everyone had a good time. So I'm very, very pleased with that. I'm very thankful. So it goes back to Dennis, W6DQ from KF6QNG.
All right, Lisa. Fantastic. Yeah, she is grinning ear to ear. I'll tell you, it's pretty cool. And no, she had a good time today. And I stayed home.
You had a good day today.
I had a good day too. All right. Yes, indeed. Okay, up next, Skip, K6LGL. It's your turn, W6DQ.
Dennis, W6DQ, and the West Coast KMI Wednesday edition. K6 Little Green Lights, Stephen Santa Monica. Good evening to all the AM and KBS. Fishing activity. Medium for ground to air to air, and air to ground. All the aircraft uses AM. It's easy to detect. And that, one could ask why couldn't use that, but probably AM works a little bit better. Okay, make the next a little bit more rain in Southern California, and I hope that eventually the snowpack in the Sierra will build up. That'll help to refill some of the reservoirs. So, not too much new here. I still got number 7 project. Usual Benton Harbor, my plate modulated 60. This is the DX300. About 19, something like that. They're going to run here on time, that's all. The frequency, so no tuner required around here. It's fairly easy to load into. And receiving on my which is my multi-band antenna, so to the lower band. Okay, thanks for doing the net, and thanks for Jeff for doing the early there. Appreciate it. Keep a good activity going. So, back to you, Dennis, and hey, good luck on getting the KW1 back on the air to your satisfaction. K6, Little Green Light, Stephen Santa Monica. Late check-in.
Let's try that again. Go ahead, check-in.
Yeah, K6 Kilo Mike November up here in the high desert. Doug, and I was just remembering, normally I'm not around on Wednesday night, but I thought, I wonder if the AM net is still on. K6 KMN.
All right, Doug. Well, we got you on the list, so we're still here. So very good. I've got you on the list here. And Skip, very good. Yeah, it'll be nice to get the. I'm 90% there with the KW1. It's, you know, I had it on last week and was really happy with it, and I was trying to move it over to another frequency over the weekend for another net, and started having some problems with the right angle drive on the vacuum variable, the plate cleaning cap. And so I've got to get in there and figure out what's loose. Something's loose. It's dragging, so I can't really do a good job of dipping the plate current. So we're gonna have to work on that before I want to really put that thing on the air for any length of time. That's why I'm on the Flex tonight, because I know this thing is reliable. I can key down for hours on this thing and not have a problem. One thing, you made a comment about AM and aeronautical communications. Gary WA7VIP made a really interesting comment. I'd never thought about that. I'd never heard that before. But his comment about AM, being a pilot, his comment was it's for safety. He says an air traffic controller can hear two stations simultaneously and be able to separate them out. So that struck me as kind of interesting, that other modes like FM, you would not be able to do that. Sideband, you should be able to, but I know they use sideband for international, you know, the long haul stuff, and for the the operational, the ops channels that they use for the airlines between their headquarters in their aircraft on international travel and probably on domestic travel also. So anyway, so let's see. Great, Skip. Thanks for being here tonight, and thank you for the comments. And with that, over to Larry. KN6IYC in the West Coast AMI net, W6DQ.
KN6IYC, Top Community of Crest, California.
Yeah, check in, K7JEB.
Yeah, let's see, K7JEB. What's the name there? I don't recognize the call sign. I apologize.
Well, no, there's no apology necessary. This is Kilo 7, Juliet Echo Bravo, Glendale, Arizona. Name is Jim, Juliet India Mike. And it's been a long time since I've checked into AMI net, but here we are. Anyway, I just wanted to, say hello to you guys, and from out here in sunny, dry Arizona. Back to you, sir. Over.
Oh, very good, Jim. Let's see, I had KN6IYC with K7JEB, W6DQ net control this evening. Well, very good, Jim. I got you on the list here. Do stick around. And Larry, thank you for the comments, and appreciate that. 73. That's what we hit here today in the high desert. So it was a nice day here as well. A little windy, a little cloudy, but it's nice to have the the non-winter weather coming. So there you go. We like it. All right. Let's see. Next up, I've got Larry, W6WUH. It's your turn, W6DQ.
All right, Dennis. Good evening to you and the net. Good to hear everybody. W6WUH, Larry in Occidental, Northern California. AMI number is 800. You know, when I sent away from my 800 number, I think mine came around probably about the same time Mike MS's came. It was 200 and something, and I wrote Dale a letter and said, well, how about giving me 707? I wanted to have my area code for my AMI number for some reason. I don't know why. You know, a year went by and I ended up with 800, so there you go. Anyway, I'm sitting here working on the Globe King. I think the plate blocking capacitor just gave up the ghost. it tunes, but it won't load. So I think that's what's going on, and I think that's been been showing a variety of weird symptoms with the tubes glowing red, even though there's plenty of bias and all that. So I think that DC blocking capacitor of the tank circuit finally gave up the ghost. So I'm digging around in the junk boxes. There's been one interesting little problem after another with my 1955 Globe King 500A. It's an interesting transmitter. A lot of the RF deck is the same as the 500B. It just doesn't have the keyer, and the modulator doesn't have the compressor, which is just fine because it didn't work for a hoot anyway. But anyway, so I'm using two different manuals and two different schematics to make sense out of what's actually in front of me. But a very late 500A with most of the stuff in the RF deck is the same as the 500B, which is not too much different, but a little. 6AG7 instead of a 6V6 for the oscillator, and yada yada. A few components to changes. And yada. So anyway, that's what I'm working on. Every time I think I was going, something else will fail. So I got in there today and decided I would put in some precision metal film resistors for all the metering resistors. I hadn't done anything with metal film resistors before, but man, a 2-watt resistor looks like a half-watt carbon resistor. But supposed to be reliable and certainly precise. So did that, and a bunch of housekeeping stuff, and so I was hoping to be on tonight. I had it sitting here modulating in the dummy load yesterday, and then things happened. So next week, I guess it'll probably be going if we don't get more surprises. Back to you, Dennis, and thanks for taking it. W6WUH.
All right, Larry. Hey, my pleasure. W6WUH and the AMI West Coast Net W6DQ. Very good. So what are you running tonight, Larry? You didn't mention that.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the ST450 driving the SP200 linear amplifier. I've got my watt meter on the Globe King. I think probably about 125, 150 watts of carrier, something like that.
Okay, well, it's doing a good job. You're 20 over. We've got some big signals here tonight, so 20 over 9, and so that's working well. Well, we'll look forward to hearing the Globe King next week. Hopefully you'll get that sorted out, and hopefully next week I'll have the KW1 back on the air too. So we'll look forward to that on both counts. So let's see. Next here I've got John, WA6JUS. It's your turn, W6DQ. I'm not hearing or seeing John. WA6JUS. Are you there?
W6YEC, Dennis, when you get a chance.
Oh, yeah, George. Hey, I got you on the list. But I guess John's not here.
Yeah, a lot of times he gets tired and has to go lay down for a little bit.
Oh, I can relate to that. I get it. Well, we'll just see. Maybe he'll come back a little later on. But thanks, George. I got you on the list. And next up, I've got Dave, WJ6W. Good evening to you, and it's your turn, W6DQ.
Well, hello, Dennis, and everybody on the AMI net, WJ6W, here in Tarzana. And like you said, conditions are just fantastic. Everyone coming in from long distance is doing very, very well here tonight. And let's see, we're running our super senior transmitter and listening on a IC7610 ICOM transceiver. Let's see. I was very interested in what Mike was running there, the W7MS, the National NC600. I didn't even know that existed. I never heard of it, so I'm going to have to look that up. But that was very, very interesting to listen to. I guess you were aware of it, Dennis. And, thanks for taking the net tonight, 2 nights in a row. That happens to me sometimes, too. I do the Vinny Sideband Roundtable. The next night I'm due for the AMI net. So as the rotation goes around, sometimes they coincide and on the same week. But let's see, we're running, as I said, the Super Senior, and I'm just sitting back here speaking into my RCA 77DX microphone that goes into some old broadcast processing that a radio station here in LA threw out years ago. And that goes into the Super Senior, and then that goes out to our inverted V up in the trees out in the backyard. And it's pretty much tuned to this frequency, pretty low SWR reading here. AMI number's 1235, and no swap and no roundtable tonight. But back to you, Dennis. W6DQ, WJ6W.
All right, Dave. WJ6W in the AMI West Coast Net, W6DQ. Yeah, it's funny. I had a blast last night. That was such a great roundtable. I don't ever remember one lasting as long as that did last night, and the band stayed with us the whole time. And we got back to the house at almost, it was just a few minutes before 9 o'clock. And that was just phenomenal. So I really appreciate everybody participating last night. That was a real hoot. But Dave, you sound great on the Super Senior, and always a pleasure. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this. This is great. I'm enjoying being the net control here. And, I'm happy to do that whenever needed. And, if Wayne and Sharon get things back on the air, I hope they do. But, I'm always here as a relief operator for anybody. So this is a hoot. I really enjoy doing this. So thanks, Dave, and appreciate all you do. So next I've got Ken, KW1NG. It's your turn now, W6DQ.
Okay, Dennis, very good. W6DQ and the Wednesday AMI group. Big group tonight, also 22 on the list tonight. Yeah, last night was a massive list. I think that's a record, 28 check-ins last night. Amazing. So you're good for these nets. You draw a crowd. So anyway, glad to have you, and happy birthday to Lisa. I just saw your Facebook page, so I put a happy birthday there on it for you. And let's see, we're on the 7300 tonight into the ALS 606. About a 100 watts carrier and about 400 watts peak audio, and out to the full wave Delta loop. We had some of the tube gear on earlier, but it just got complicated. So I need to make a TR relay for my 51S1 and transmitter that I'm putting together here. So before I get that stuff on the air again, I need to throw fewer switches. So I'll get a TR relay put together for it. All right. Well, that's about it for me. Glad to hear everybody. Conditions are wonderful. Copying everybody. And send it back to you. W6DQ and the group. Oh, and by the way, Jeff, good to hear you back. KK6IRZ. Glad you made it home safely, and everything's still there. And good evening to George also. W6DQ and the group, KW1NG.
All right, Ken, KW1NG of the West Coast AMI net, W6DQ net control here. And yeah, good signal, nice signal. It looks like you opened up the band. Did you figure out how to open up the bandwidth on your transmit audio? It looks like you're about. It looks like it's about 6K wide. Were you able to figure that out? I guess. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is set to wide.
Okay, super. Yeah, because I know last week we were talking about that you were having some. It was kind of squashed. It was a pretty narrow band, and you just have to play with the filters, which is one of the wonderful things on that radio. Like this radio, the filters are infinitely adjustable, which is just really cool. So yeah, nice to hear you tonight. And yeah, that was a big group last night. I was stunned at that, like I said, and almost 2 hours in length. That was pretty amazing. So let me take a quick break. I'm going to look for more check-ins. This is W6DQ with the West Coast AMI Net. If you'd like to join us, give me a call. Well, nothing seen or heard, so we're going to keep going here. 5 more on the list here I've got. So next up is Bob, WA9JIB. It's your turn. Go ahead, W6DQ.
W6DQ, hi, WA9JIB. Bob over here in Boston County, California. For the newcomers, that's just northwest of Pasadena, just north of Glendale, not too far from the Rose Bowl. So, bedroom community you've never heard of. Anyway, the band is beautiful. No two are married, people strong, no noise. In fact, when in between transmissions, I have to check and see. I think maybe the receiver's gone dead. There's a little noise. So it's just a beautiful night for AM communications here. So I'm running my usual AM station at D104 to a John I get about 145 watts out of it. My inverted D-dipole, about 35 foot mast, then with coaxial cable. And you go to an change here. So the receiver is a Hammerland HQ129 X-ray. Very nice. Thank you to George WA6XTX for receiving the Valiant transformer. Interstage transformer for the bottom chassis. Hopefully I'll never need it, but if I need it, I got one, so thanks for that. Let's see, no AMI number for me. I'll gloss over something particular on Bison Swamp. It doesn't sound like anybody's going to hang around for the round table, so I'll say no. But you never know, I might check back in if there is one. Right now I don't know. So, but anyway, if there is one, I might jump back in. So everybody sounds great. Kind of like good old days when it was just armchair copy on everybody, and that's tonight. So hopefully portends good things. Back to you, Dennis, and you guys just sound great on your flex tonight. W6DQ and the AMI West Coast at WA9JIB.
Okay, Bob, nice. WA9JIB in La Cañada. W6DQ in Inyokern. And yeah, you're sounding good, Bob, and nice big signal. Everybody is really doing great tonight. It doesn't matter what you're running. Their signals are like between 20 and 40 over here. So it's just phenomenal. And I won't jinx it by saying the conditions are great, but you know what I mean. Anyway, good stuff, Bob. Hey, thanks for being there. And we're going to send it over to Steve with another big signal, KS6SYD, and the AMI West Coast Net, W6DQ.
All right, KF6SYD, Steve in Long Beach, AMI 1708, CCA AM1000D transmitter, inverted V at 70 feet. I can hear everybody tonight. Just sit back and listen on the NC300. And no sideband or anything else cutting into us. It's really, we're in our own world, which does happen to us every once in a while. Oh, it's so good to have you running the net, Dennis. I really enjoy it. It's so cool. You and Lisa both here, back on AM with us, and it's just so good. And Jeff, thanks for taking the early. I got up here just in time to hear you doing that, and I could tell everyone was having a good time, which is why we're out here, I think. One of the reasons why we're out here. And Lisa, happy birthday. sounds like you had a really good one, and those are special. Not every one of my birthdays is a really bad one. I don't want to talk about that, but when you have a really good one, it's so nice, and I'm glad you did. What did we do today? Julie and I took our grandsons on a bike ride, and flat tire, and I had to fix it. Hey, it turned out good, and we all had a good time. That was good to do today, and not too much else exciting going on around here. No round table tonight. Dennis, back over to you. W6DQ, KF6SYD.
Okie doke, Steve. KF6SYD and the AMI West Coast Net, W6DQ. Well, I'm sorry you're not going to stick around for the roundtable, and I forgot to mention, Bob, I'm going to put you down here because there are a couple of folks who have said interest in the roundtable, and we'll stick around. So hopefully you'll stick around, Bob, and I forgot to mention that too. And I also forgot to mention to Dave about Mike's NC600. Yeah, I've been well aware of that radio for a long, long time. Like I said, I'm a big National fan, and that's a pretty rare piece of equipment. They're hard to come by, so Mike got extremely lucky tracking that down. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that transmitter. I'm glad he's going to stick around, so that's really cool. But Steve, I'm sorry you're not going to be here, but fine business on the bike ride, and a good day at that. Yeah, we've all had the bad birthdays. I can relate to that. Yes, can Lisa. We've been there, done that. So, but it looks like she's having a good one this time. She's still grinning ear to ear. So far, yeah. Another day to go, actually. But, yeah, okay. Well, I was told what to do for her birthday, and I already did it. So, anyway, she got her birthday present early. So with that, I'm going to send it over to Doug, K6KMN. It is your turn. Take it away from W6DQ.
Yeah, W6DQ in the group, K6 Kilo Mike November. Doug up here in Lancaster. And it's been a while since I've been on the AM net, and I'm hearing some calls that I haven't worked before. But anyway, Dennis, I have you in the log, and I realized that I only worked you one other time, and I might have worked you here on the AM net, but I always don't log everybody that's on there. But I have you here in 2015 on 40 meter AM. So that's last time I worked you. Anyway, nice to hear everybody is coming in well. Great conditions. So anyway, I'll keep it short. The chain of equipment here, starting with the microphone. The microphone is a classic. It's a Electro Voice 664, and it's got the nice heavy bass, so it stays right in position. It's hard to, so heavy it's hard to move it. And that goes through a couple of devices that just tweaks the audio a little bit, and then it goes into the Kenwood TS590, which is Kenwood makes great sounding equipment. And it's one thing before I bought this radio, I had another transceiver that I was very disappointed with the audio. But I got this one, and I'm quite happy with the way it sounds both on AM and single sideband. So anyway, we're driving a vintage amplifier, a Kenwood TL922A, and let's see, what's our we're running a little over 300 watts, and that goes through a MFJ 8. What is that number? 989C. And it's a nice tuner. I had some problems with it, and there was some spurious resonance in the there, and it was the coil really that they had a modification in there to try to cure the problem, but it didn't work too well. So I just bypassed that whole section, and that was the low section right underneath 75 meters. So there's no 160 meter band anymore in the tuner. But I never worked 160 anyway, so so we go from the tuner into about around 25 feet. A little more than that. It's about 30 feet, and then I go through a ballon, and that goes into a ladder line, and the ladder line goes up to a wire antenna, and this is where things get a little bit strange. It's open. It's not a symmetrical. It's kind of a weird configuration for me to get 245 feet of wire up in the air was not easy. So anyway, it's open about, I'd say, a third on one side and about 2/3 on the other side, and there's a big old Johnson insulator on it. A great big, huge thing. And I was just guessing at how it would work on several different bands, and to come to find out it works on all the bands with the tuner, but not too far off. And it works quite well. It works great on 10 meters, and it works great on 75. So I finally got an antenna. I was disappointed here for a number of years trying to get an antenna that worked well on 75. And I finally accomplished that here about, how long have I had that thing up there now? Probably around 7 or 8 a year. So there you go. That's what we're running here on this end. So anyway, nice to get on AM, and I guess I picked a good night. The condition is very good, and I'm hearing everybody very well. So with that being said, I will let you guys wrap it up here, and I'm going to wrap it up on my end. So thank you, Dennis. W6DQ and the group K6KMN.
All right, Doug, K6KMN and the AMI West Coast Net, W6DQ. Well, fantastic. You know, it's funny, when you called in, your call was really familiar to me. It's something tweaked in the back of my mind, but I couldn't figure out, and I was looking in my logs. I didn't find anything in my logs, so it's probably in one of my paper logs somewhere, because I do keep a lot of paper logs. But that's great. 2015. I was probably just moved up here to Inyokern. We moved up here permanently in 2015. Just about this time of the year. It was the permanent move was on Super Bowl Sunday that year, and I'd been up here for some time before that, just coming up on the weekends and stuff. So very cool. Well, you're just right down the road from us. You're not too far away, and you've got a beautiful signal up here, which is really kind of surprising considering how close together we are. It's not bad. So glad you could make it and join us, Doug. Do come back. We're here every week, so you don't want to miss it. And really great to hear you. So next I've got Jim, K7JEB. It's your turn, W6DQ.
Okay, Dennis, W6DQ and the group AMI crew, K7JEB. AMI number is 1136-1136. The rig here is a Kenwood Divine Wind transceiver driving a Heathkit Turkey Baker amplifier and a West Texas rifle up about 20 feet in the air. Audio processing is with Magic Julius boxes, otherwise known as W2IH1 EQ Plus and 8-band equalizer. And we're running about 200 watts of carrier. The Turkey Baker here is floated back to the CW position. And we're just getting along here. So I will agree that the band conditions are wonderful. And it's good to be talking on the AMI network after so long. I have a website that's kind of dedicated to, it features some of the old AM shacks here in Arizona. It's Arizona-am.net. Arizona-am.net. And it's been around on the air for a while. And we're probably looking for another proprietor for it. But right now, I still have the hosting fees paid up for a while. Anyway, again, name is Jim, Juliet, India Mike, and QTH is Glendale, Arizona, suburb of Phoenix, just northwest of city center, about, 8 or 10 miles. W6DQ and Group K7JEB.
All right, Jim. Very good. K7JEB, Whiskey 6 Delta Quebec, W6DQ net control this evening for the AMI West Coast net. Well, yeah, I'm very familiar with Glendale. I have an old friend, a very old friend of mine I've known since I was a kid, who lived in Glendale over there and had lived in Glendale for quite some time, and you probably know of him. He's a bit of an odd duck, but he recently passed away. He became a silent key here last year, but that's Ed Sharp, and the Southwest Museum of Engineering, Communications, and Computing Technology, some crazy thing like that he used to run there. And I've got some stories about Ed, if you know him, which we go way, way, way back to when we were kids. So I was really, really saddened that he passed away, but finally got his ham license, and I'm thinking you may know him from that, but he was out there in Glendale, so that would be cool. Last on the list, last but certainly not the least here, George, W6YEC. It's your turn, W6DQ.
All right, Dennis, thank you very much for picking us up. Sorry we were late. I had a Zoom-type call tonight with a bunch of men, a discipleship thing we do the third Wednesday of the month. And then Becky had prepared dinner, so I thought I should honor her and eat the dinner and not walk out and get it later. So that's what I did. And anyway, we're just glad to be here. Thanks for taking the net. So good to hear Jim checking in on 75. We chat on 40 from time to time, but Jim, everything sounds great there. You're doing a good job. And to hear Doug back on here, wow. Great signal in the San Diego, Doug, from Lancaster. And the Electro Voice mic is what I use with my Drake setup. And it sure sounds nice. You got it tweaked just right, I think. Of course, that TS590, like you said, Kenwood does a great job with audio. No getting around it. And the 922, one of my favorite amps over the years. I haven't had one for quite a while, but they are a very attractive amplifier and work quite well if you don't mess around with them and mess them up. A lot of times guys make a mistake of changing the band when they shouldn't and mess up the bandwidth. I know that it worked on several has a bandwidth problem. Anyway, tonight, AMI 1197 is our official number, and we're using an AKG microphone that's going through a Behringer equalizer for tweaking it and trying to make it sound somewhat decent. And that's going into a Viking Ranger 2, and the Ranger 2 is driving MLA 2500 linear amplifier, so low-level amplification here, low-level audio, I should say. But it seems to work real nice, and it's a compact amplifier. I kind of like it. And I've had it for years. Got it up at the barbecue at George's place one year from Bob up there. He used to live in up there at Big Bear with Mickey. He'd come down with his wife, and Mickey and his wife would come down to the barbecues. Boy, those were good days. Anyway, we're using it here on the AM desk and listening on a Hammerman HQ110 Alpha that is going into a homebrew amplifier, pair of 6V6s, and tied to a I think it's an SM23 Hallercrafters speaker. They're very attractive speakers that were used with back in let's see, SX28s and that kind of stuff, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Or one of the speakers that was used back in those days. And sure does produce nice audio. Everybody sounds terrific that I've heard so far here tonight. Yep, and let's see, I think that covers it for me. So with that, let me give it back to you there, Dennis. No on a round table for me tonight. I'm going to get up to the house and my time with Becky. And as every good ham should do with her husband, with her wife, or if they're a woman with her husband. We do have a tendency to hang out in the shack, don't we? And so thanks again, Dennis. I appreciate it so much. Everybody have a good evening, and stay safe. We'll talk to you later. W6BQ, W6YEC.
All right, George, W6YEC and the AMI West Coast Net, W6DQ. Well, one of the things that I'm really grateful for is that my wife is also a ham, and she likes to hang out over here with me and do the net. So I'm blessed with that. It's pretty cool. And she actually has her hand at being net control on our Collins net occasionally. So that's all good stuff. So George, great that you made it. I'm glad you made it. Better late than never, as they always say, and glad you're here. And the Ranger 2 sounds good. You always sound great on there. I was trying to think back. I think I bought that MLA 2500. I know I took one to the barbecue one year that came out of an estate here, and I'll bet I took a MLA 2500 and there were a couple of I had a bunch of stuff I took up there that year. We had an estate from one of our club members here in Ridgecrest, so I think that's where that came from. I've got one of them here. It's a nice little amplifier. They are sweet as long as you take it easy on those tubes, because they are unobtainium. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break, see if we got anybody else. If we got anybody else who'd like to tail into our net, if anybody else would like to join us on the AMI. Otherwise, I'm going to officially close the net down. So do we have anybody else who'd like to check in at the end of the net here? This is W6DQ.
W6DQ, WB6ZBX, Fresno.
Hey, WB6ZDX. Good to have you here. Go ahead and take a turn. Over to you, WB6ZDX, W6DQ.
Okay, Dennis, good evening to you in the net, W6DQ, WB6ZBX. This is Jeff, southeast of Fresno, transmitting tonight on the Collins 30K4 with a 310B1 exciter and listening on the 75A4. Conditions are really good tonight. Everybody's really loud. It's just like the old days, if the old days were ever this good, I don't know.
Anyway, one reason I wanted to jump in here tonight, Dennis, is I made some offhanded comments a couple weeks ago about having a Collins KW1 roundup. So we could all, those of us that have KW1s, could get on and exercise them. And I have had 7 or 8 people contact me about that already, wanting to listen to it or wanting to know if or when it's going to be. So I'm kind of interested in what your thoughts might be, whether it would be better to do it on the AMI net or do it on the Collins net, and if so, and when, and who would volunteer to coordinate it. I nominate you. So maybe sometime later this year, when everybody has a chance to get all their ducks in a row, I think we could probably come up with about 7 of them out here on the West Coast. That's my unofficial count, and it's the sort of thing that, if we wait a few years, it may not happen again. So wonder what your thoughts might be on the subject, and 7-3s to everybody out there. I will be listening. W6DQ, WB6ZBX. All right, Jeff, awesome. Well, I'm glad you jumped in here, and WB6ZBX, W6DQ. I think it's a great idea. Like I said last time, I think we need to do that, and if we can come up with that many KW1s, I think we just do it on Wednesday night with the AMI net and just have some fun with it. It would be just incredible to hear a bunch of KW1s on the air at the same time. And you might not have heard earlier, we're not on the KW1 tonight. I had a mechanical problem with it over the weekend, and so I've got to fix that. And other than that, it's working great. And so I've it's that right angle drive on the vacuum variable plate tuning cap is flipping, and it's I don't know. I can't reach around behind and reach around in front and hit the tuning control while I'm looking around and back. My arm just isn't quite long enough. So I'm going to have to get Lisa to come out and turn the knob for me while I try and figure out what's flipping. Anyway, either that or hook up a remote camera or something. I could probably do that too. But anyway, I think it's a wonderful idea. By the way, the 30K4 sounds fantastic. And one of these days, I've got a 30K5 here that one of these days I got to get on the air. Wayne's got a bunch of parts from it. He's got all the tank circuit coils, the plate coils, because he was going to make some duplicates of them. So he's got all my coils from this thing, and I got to get those back one of these days. I know he's got them set aside in a box with my name on it, but one of these days I want to get that thing going again. So anyway, that would be nice to have the 30K on the air as well. But you sound great tonight, Jeff. So yeah, I'm all for it. Let's, my email's good on QRZ. Drop me a line. It's just my call sign at ARRL.net. Drop me a note. We'll coordinate that. And I got some stuff I'd like to talk to you about anyway, too. You got an 820D2 there, I think, that you operate. I'd like to talk to you about that transmitter sometime, because we've got one sitting here that's never been converted. So anyway, so Jeff, thanks a lot for being here, and thanks for the comments on the net. And yeah, we got to do that. I agree 100%. Any other comments? Go ahead.
K7JEB.
Yeah, I will make a few comments. There's 1 or 2 people that I understand are interested in participating that are, shall we say, their time is of high value and they're not available every Wednesday. So it would be nice if we could plan it, 3 or 4 months down the road so everybody would have a chance to adjust their schedules. And yeah, it's it's the sort of thing you'd want to record and also put in ER just for posterity, because those of us are getting a bit long in the tooth. And yeah, I do have an 820D2 on the air, which I really love to operate. And also, you guys that are operating HF80 stuff, I have a 208U3A, which I'm getting ready to put on the air too. So that's one of my projects for this summer, if things ever slow down. Okay, we'll give you a shout on the email and see if we can't come up with something
give everybody several months so that there's no excuses why things can't be fixed. And one other comment I'll make, the KW1's that turns counter on the front for the Johnson, that's a Johnson turns counter, by the way, for the plate tuning. Those things are notorious for mechanical problems, and I have a new spare here if you need it, and they're around. W6DQ, WB6ZBX, and you got somebody else wanting to break in there too.
Yeah, Jeff. Yeah, I caught Jim. So stand by, Jim. I got you. I heard you in there, and I accept your call. Your call is Zulu Baker X-ray rather than Zulu Delta X-ray, I believe. But anyway, yeah. Thanks, Jeff. And yeah, you know, I'm well aware of those the Johnson control, and I've got 2 of those in stock here that are brand new. So I've had those around for a long, long time. I probably had those longer than I had the KW1, but I got all kinds of little goodies like that around here. So yeah, fine business on the 208U3A. That's neat. And I'm working on getting my HF80 on the air. I got to do some work on the exciter. It's got some smoking tantalum capacitors, the usual problem. So that has to get repaired, and I'll be on the air with that. So very good, Jeff. Hey, thanks a lot, and appreciate the comments. And yeah, let's talk on email. We'll get that sorted out, and we'll do a KW1. I like that, a KW1 roundtable. That'll be awesome. That will be fantastic. So, Jim, go ahead. K7JEB. You had a comment. Go for it. W6DQ.
Oh, just very quickly, Dennis, I just wanted to acknowledge that I did have talked to Ed Sharp in the past. I didn't know him very well, but he certainly seemed to was very interested in antique and television, and I kind of harkened back to that era too. So anyway, acknowledging his passing, and well, just let him. I guess we're all fading into the sunset here sooner or later. Back to you, Dennis.
Oh, Jim, that's great. Thank you, and I'm glad you got to know him. And yeah, he had quite a collection of stuff there. That we started that when we were kids, and I've sometime when we got some time, I'll have to share some stories with you because we had some pretty wild times as kids, and I'm talking like in elementary school. So those were some good times, and yeah, I was really sorry to hear him that he'd passed away. His wife had contacted me and let me know, and it was like, oh man, very sad. So I'd like to know what happens to all his stuff out there too, his museum. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close the net. This is the official end of the AMI West Coast net, and thus begins the roundtable. And I'm going to read off what I've got so far. As I've got Jeff, if you're still here, KK6IRZ. I've got you for the roundtable. I've got Mike, W7MS, with that NC600. Oh my gosh, Michael, good to have you sticking around. And I think Bob was going to try and be here, so I'm going to put you on the list here. And of course, Lisa and myself. I'll put us on the list here, KFQNG and W6DQ. So, did I miss anybody? Is there anybody else who'd like to be on the roundtable tonight? Please go ahead.